You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode 136.2, our scoreboard for Thursday's girls basketball games in Blackford, Delaware, Grant, Howard, Madison, Tipton, and Northern Hamilton counties, with Friday's game predictions with Michelle Garmon of the Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call-Leader.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report, we are honored by your listen. Today is January 3rd, 2025. It's a Friday, so it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt, and I love Central Indiana basketball. I'm coming to you today from headquarters in Jeffersonville. Producer Susie is doing the headquarters dishes as we speak. It's been fun hanging out with producer Susie over the last couple of weeks, but it's time to get back to work. I'm headed back to stage 22 on Saturday and looking forward to going to the Grant 4 at Madison Grant on Saturday evening. Before we get to the girls scoreboard today, there is some sad news in our industry with the Herald Bulletin laying off some staff, including some of our friends. If they think they can do better than that, then I don't know what they're thinking. So obviously their plan is to regress, and been through it. It's sad for the industry that I spent my life in, and sad day for Madison County. All right, back to the good stuff. Sorry I wasn't able to get to a full Grant 4 tournament preview for the girls. I simply ran out of time. But Michelle Garmon and I will talk about the tournament on Saturday's Central Indiana Sports Report. We'll talk about all of the games ahead for Saturday as well. We only had two local games Thursday. LaPel won its sixth straight game, 61-43 over Winchester, and Pendleton Heights won its third straight game, 77-29 over Jay County. Of course, those two teams will be seeing each other on Monday in the opening round of the Madison County tournament. Really wish that was a game further down the line, but it's going to be a great first round game. We'll have more details on both of their wins momentarily. Before we get to that, please like, subscribe, or follow us at SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or YouTube so you don't miss a single segment of the Central Indiana Sports Report. All you have to do is search Central Indiana Sports Report, and you'll find us on any major podcasting site. We start the roundup at LaPel, where LaPel beat Winchester 61-43. The Bulldogs led 24-21 at the half, then outscored the Falcons 22-6 in the third quarter to take control. LaPel is now 10-5 overall, having won 6 consecutive games. Scoring for the Bulldogs, Sophie Goodwin and Taylor Moreau scored 15 points each. Lanaya Wills had 12 points and 16 rebounds. Freshman Layla Dawson finished with 4 points, 5 assists, and 4 steals. And sophomore Addie Bodenhorn had 4 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 steals. Man, I hope I pronounced Addie's last name correctly, because last time I didn't. I heard from my high school English teacher, Mr. Sipe, who corrected me on my mispronunciation. Don't want that to happen again. Like I said, LaPel is at 9-6 Pendleton Heights in the first round of the Madison County tournament on Monday. The second round will be against Anderson or Alexandria. Winchester is 6-7 and hosts the Randolph County tournament on Friday and Saturday. Pendleton Heights won 77-29 at Jay County. That is not a bad Jay County team. That is quite a win. Third straight win for the Arabians, fourth in their last 5 games. They are 5-2 since December 1st and is now 9-6 on the season against a really tough schedule. Senior Casey Warfel had 37 points. She was 15 for 24 from the field, 4 for 6 from behind the three-point line, with 7 steals, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. and I'm going to make her girls basketball player of the night. With her teammate, junior Olivia Jones, had 11 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 assists for a triple-double. So our Central Indiana Sports Report girls basketball players of the day for the first time ever, co-players, much less on the same team. Pendleton Heights senior Casey Warfel and Pendleton Heights junior Olivia Jones. And now you know everything we know about Central Indiana girls basketball. Please stay tuned for Michelle Garmon and our picks for Friday's girls basketball game.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
All right, Michelle, I had a big day on Saturday, outscoring you 12-3 because there were two games that we picked a different winner, and I got both of them. So the score is now Greg 27, Michelle 18 with the girls basketball picks. And here's your chance to make it up, Michelle.
Oh, and that's fine.
Welcome.
And you know what? One of those that you got was great because it was Alexandria, and I'm so happy for Mickey and the girls to win that Richmond tournament. That's huge for them.
Yes. All right, the games that you got, I predicted Huntington North by 22 over Mississinawa. You said it would be more. It ended up 26. Northwestern beat Wheeler by 23. I predicted it would be 10. You said it would be more, so you got that one. And I said Purdue Inglewood by 13 over Marion. You said it would be more. It ended up being 18. Here are the ones that I got correct. I picked Central Catholic. You took Kokomo. Central Catholic won by 14. I picked Wapahani. You said Cascade. Wapahani pulled it out to give Greg 5 points. And I picked Alexandria. You took Charlestown. The Tigers stayed unbeaten by beating the Pirates in double overtime. So that's 5. I should maybe get 2.5 points for that, Michelle. Because we were both kind of right on that one.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that should be a good game.
Yes.
So
Charlestown's a great program, going all the way back to the 90s when they were in the Final Four in the single class basketball, to now with Scott Matthews at the running the program for the last few years. Great program. Not quite, like I said, not quite on Silver Creek's level, so you don't hear about them in the tournament much because Silver Creek's been winning that for the last few years, but very good program. All right.
yes.
Here are Friday's games. We haven't had any picks for a week because I've been lazy, and that's okay. On Friday, 5-8 Frankton goes to 10-5 Kokomo. I say Kokomo by 21.
Kokomo by 21. Oh, gosh. Which Frankton team is going to show up?
Yes.
I mean, that's the key. Which Frankton team is going to show up? The one that competed with Lapel, or the one that competed with Ellick for a half?
Yeah.
I will say this. You said you got Kokomo by 21.
Also, I want to say this, Michelle. It's also which Kokomo team because when they shoot 45% or better, they are really good. And when they shoot 29%, their defense is sometimes good enough to keep them in the game, but that happens way too much. So it also depends on if Kokomo's making shots.
Yeah, well, here's what I'm going to say because I believe this is going to be Frankton's first time to Memorial Gym.
Mm.
And, and I don't know if this Frankton group has been at what I call one of the iconic,
Right.
played in one of the iconic gyms. And you and I both know that it's different when you go there
It
for
is
the first
different.
time. I mean, it truly is.
Without question.
Gosh, I think it could be less, but I'm going to say more, but not much more, but I will say more. I just think that playing at Kokomo and that style that they play is something that Frankton is a little unaccustomed to. I mean, Anderson's girls aren't up there like with their boys and everything, and it's just a different thing. So I will say more.
All right, 7-5. Daleville is at 6-8 Tri Central. I say Daleville by 9.
Yeah. Oh
Pretty good
man.
Daleville team, Michelle. They've got some really good skilled basketball players and some really good athletes who are playing basketball for the first time since like junior high. Not for the first time ever, but for the first time on the varsity from the volleyball team. That makes that team particularly dangerous, I think.
Yeah. No, and I agree. I the game being at Tri Central does help Tri Central a little bit because
Yes,
the Lady Trojans are. I believe they are a much better team at home than on the road. The key is going to be to whoever makes the fewer turnovers. And I'm trying to remember who was it that. Oh, it was Delville came back by and they came from behind to beat Frankton, wasn't it?
yes,
That Rob Hunt was at that game
yes,
and with that press. You have Delville by 9.
yes.
All right. It could be by more, but I'm going to say less than 9.
Yeah.
I'll say that Tri Central on their home court with I think Creason could be a problem for Delville inside, just her strength.
1-14 Anderson is at 9-3 Pike. I picked Pike by 36.
And it's at Pike, right?
Yes.
You get oh, I'll say Pike. I'll go more.
Again, Anderson's not good. Obviously, 1-14 makes you not good, no matter who you play. But they play a very tough schedule and are not a helpless 1-14 team. But
No, but
Pike is very
Pike
good,
and plays a good schedule. I mean,
and
that area, that Indianapolis area has some good good girls basketball teams down in there.
yes, they do. Manchester is 5-9. They go to 5-8 Northwestern. I say Manchester by 7.
And I'll say Manchester. I'll say more. I think it'll be 9-10.
2-12 Taylor is at 10, or it's not at, versus 10-4 North Montgomery in the semifinal in the Delphi tournament. And I say North Montgomery by 28. By the way, I want to say, as you're thinking about this, Taylor does have one outstanding player in Jelena Harris, and I think they're better than the 2-12 team.
Yeah, and I will say this. I think they're getting better. I haven't really seen him live. I've seen some tape on him, and you know, Tiffany Longworth Borf she was an outstanding basketball player
Yes,
for
she was.
Kokomo, and played at Penn State. And I just watched the Tipton when they played Tipton on because it was streamed, and so I saw part of that game. And what I saw from Taylor and Tipton won that game, but I saw a more structured Taylor team. I think than like last year,
Yes.
and so it's going to take a while for her to get her s- her stamp really
Right.
on that team. And what'd you say 26,
28.
28? Or I'll say less. I think it'll be in the 20s, but I could be wrong, and it could end up being a 30-some point game, but I'll say less because it's at Delphi, so we'll just Taylor's played on that court before. They're in the same conference, so
Well, I was setting a trap for you. I thought you would take North Montgomery by more, so I thought that too. So I just wanted you to know you didn't fall for the trap. Okay. At the Union City Invitational, 1-13 Blackford has lost 12 in a row. They face 9-4 Clinton Central. I say Clinton Central by 24.
more, I think. Clinton Central's really good. I
Okay.
mean, they got the Davison girl who's really pretty good, and
Yes,
this is
she
a
is.
Clinton Central team that advanced to the semi-state last year. So I know they lost some pieces from it, but they're still playing pretty well this year. So I'll say more.
Thanks once again to Michelle Garmon for joining the Central Indiana Sports Report. She is the best. So are you. We have the best listeners in the world. Thanks for listening. Please don't forget to tell a friend.
The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media.
And I love Susie.